Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started. Hey y'all! Happy New Year's Eve! We are so excited to spend this holiday with you today. So today we're going to be doing a fun little episode, a little bit different than usual. We are doing our 2019 year in review with gratuitous amounts of all the things that we did this year that we're going to share with you.
I know.
We'll make it helpful. Okay, it'll be inspirational maybe. I don't know. It could be some sad news, but we're going to be talking about like our stats, our accomplishments this year, the things that went great, things that didn't go so great, maybe even talk about like some planning for 2020. So almost like a little brainstorm session, a little reflection back on the year. So it's going to be fun. I also have drank a lot of coffee today, so it's going to be jazzy. And I'm so excited to get started and chat with you guys today.
Cami will make up for the fact that like I woke up not as jazzed this morning. I told her I was like
not jazzy today.
I'll be plenty jazzy now that I had like lunch and stuff because lunch is my favorite. But I was telling her, I was like, I think I literally like that saying I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. That was me this morning because I like woke up and I was lying there and my husband was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine." Like staring at the ceiling. Like, I don't know. I just was so not into getting up this morning.
Oh my gosh. Well, the past few episodes I've been sick, so I guess it was time for you to like take
I know, so now I've like flip-flopped. I do feel like I am kind of like fighting something off, but who knows? That's just like this time of year, and I have a perpetually sniffy nose anyways. It's just like my life now, so yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you guys, every time my mom comes to visit, she's always like, "Cami, make sure you get me Kleenexes." And I was making fun of that with Elizabeth one day. She's like, "Why would you make like of course you need Kleenexes. Who doesn't have Kleenexes?" I'm like, it's the same as toilet paper. Why would I buy Kleenexes when you can use toilet paper? But she has this thing that she really loves Kleenexes, and I've learned this about her. So if Elizabeth comes to visit, I'm going to get some Kleenexes because I love her.
I think you have gotten them for me before.
I did, yeah. I just
last time when I came out in February, you had some, or July.
Yeah, and then when you left,
because I complained to you. I was like, you don't have any Kleenexes.
Like, why don't you just use toilet paper like a normal person?
I know. By the way, do I sound normal? Like, does my sound quality sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's doing that thing where it says like my mic is unknown again, so I just wanted to make sure before we like record a whole thing.
Yeah. No, you sound fine. Okay. We're good.
Well, you didn't notice that one time it didn't sound good.
Well,
so
I'm pretty sure I was dying. Or no, that was the other time. I feel like I did kind of notice, but it was too late.
It was too late. But you're saying right now I sound fine, and I sounded like how I did during the interview.
Yeah, now I'm more cognizant to be aware. Otherwise, you'll make me re-record. So,
okay, I know I will. I literally would. And,
I know.
And that's one of my great traits, y'all. No, just kidding. I'm a stickler.
It's fine. I had to avoid Elizabeth for an entire weekend, so we wouldn't have to record a podcast.
Yeah, you big beanie.
But
I mean, deep down, I didn't want to do it either, guys. It was only we did the sales sneak peek. It was like 7 minutes. It was just like this random episode we posted on a Monday morning, and the sound was awful. But I was like, I got over it. I really did because I was like, it's not worth it. But I was mad. I was a little mad.
I know. Well, then you're like, "Are you ready in an hour?" I was like, "I'm literally not home right now," and she's gonna think that I'm just saying that. But
I know half of me was like, "She might just be saying that," but I like wasn't that motivated. I wasn't that motivated.
Neither one of us were motivated. I could tell because if you'd been motivated, you would have put a date on the calendar and set it up to schedule things. So
yeah.
It's fine.
It's all good. Everyone's like, what are they even talking about?
Now
like,
that we've
no
cleared
idea
the air about that.
But I sound okay.
Now Elizabeth sounds okay. Now we're going to talk about our year. And I literally, so Elizabeth made this cute little table with like months and dates because she's or just months because she's so cute.
Meticulous.
Filling in the things of that month, and mine, I'm like, what did I do? I have like one bullet point, and she has like 17 for each month. So clearly, I've done nothing.
Well, you know why, right? Because I actually put literally everything on my calendar, so it's really easy for me. I just went back through the months to look at what I did, but you don't do any of that.
I have no idea what I did.
You can't remember anything you did, and mine are super nitpicky things like 8 yogurt on. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have. I don't know what days I ate what. No, I just have all of my my time blocking stuff, so it's easy to see what I did.
All right, then. Let's dive into it, shall we? January.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yours is empty.
Mine's empty.
Oh, good gosh.
All I know is we launched the podcast in January, and obviously that was a huge thing for us and for you guys. So the Dispatch podcast literally launched on January 1st, which was super cool. Also, this is like our 1-year anniversary episode.
Yeah, it basically is because it's New Year's Eve, and so tomorrow is the 1 year. Yeah, so we've done a full year of podcast episodes now.
Yes.
Crazy, but super cool. And it hasn't felt like a year, it wasn't a slog. It was very easy. I feel like it comes naturally. I'm not patting us on the backs or anything. I just feel like we enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I mean, we literally chit chat all the freaking time. So it's literally us just having a conversation as usual.
I'm still part of the phone plan with Will's parents, and my father-in-law told me, oh geez. This past weekend, he told me that he and I are the ones that use all the minutes on the plan. Will barely uses anything, and apparently Carrie, my mother-in-law, doesn't use as much. It's Rob and I are the ones, and I was I'm not that surprised about me. Considering I do talk to Cammie as much as I do. So I told Will, I was I think I need to start doing the FaceTime audio calls with Cammie, so I'm not using voice minutes,
Oh, I forgot minutes were even a thing anymore.
It is still a thing because I get a text message all the time that the plan's about to go over.
Oh, I get that all the time for the data because I'm on my parents' plan too because it's $20 a month for me to be on their plan.
Yeah.
And my mom be like, Cammie, you've gone over the data again. And it's I don't even know how much it is, but I use 98% of it. My mom, I'll send my mom a link. She's like, I'm not going to look at this until I get to Wi-Fi because I don't want to use the data because all of them Mom, oh my God, just click the link.
Well, I grew up with my dad was a total stickler about that too, because I think that each person had 2 gigs to share, or the family had 2 gigs. I can't remember, but that's not very much.
Yeah, that's not much.
And now I'm totally spoiled because Will's parents are grandfathered into a truly unlimited plan, because an unlimited plan anymore means it's about 22 gigabytes, and then they kind of throttle your data. It's not actually unlimited, but ours is literally unlimited. So it's I feel I would be doomed because I don't know. We're talking about the fact that we might need to do our own phone plan and what that would look like, and I'm just having a hard time wrapping my mind around all of it because you're right. It's so expensive.
It is. Every time my mom calls, she's like, "You've gone over the data again." I'm like, "Mom, I am running a business."
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing I told Will. I told Will, I was if we do pay for the phone plan on our own, we'll be able to business expense some of that because I use my phone the majority of the time for business purposes. What am I actually doing that's personal? Talking to my mom and my family. That's it. Everything else I do on my phone is for business.
Yeah, my mom sends me, she's very organized. She sends me a little itemized sheet of what I paid for the phone plan. So she's put this into your tax deduction thing.
That's amazing that she does that because we don't really.
She sends me all the stuff, all the receipts.
Yeah.
And this little copied Excel spreadsheet that she uses on her copier and writes on. I don't even know. It's very, very old school, but I get it. So.
It's so cute that she does that. Yeah. So it's this whole thing now. Or maybe we just need a Biz Birthday Bash phone plan and then we'll just put our husbands on that. Maybe we just all need a phone plan together.
Through work, and his is all paid for and he has unlimited
right.
data. So I use his a lot if we're on the road. I just turn the Wi-Fi on. Yeah, and use it as a hotspot.
Oh, smart. Well, I guess we should actually talk about our month.
Tell everyone what you did in January since I wrote nothing.
Yeah, well, we did the New Year, New Biz challenge.
Was that this year?
Yeah, it
I guess
was.
it was.
It was 2019. Yeah, the very beginning of 2019. And we did that to kind of like also kick off the podcast happening at the same time. I think it all kind of went hand in hand, but that literally feels so long ago that
Yeah.
I don't remember what those emails said. I don't know what we told you guys. I'm sure it was something good. But
I'm sure it was great. I do remember writing a lot of those. Yeah, like now I remember a little bit.
yes. Yeah, and
It
so
was fun.
there's been a couple series that we've done before, like Ideal Project Challenge. We want to bring back hopefully in 2020. We want to do some sort of like automated email series that you guys can like join whenever you want. We've just like never gotten around to that. But New Year, New Biz was in January, and then I launched my workshop planning guide. And I did all those like blogs about workshops. This was when I was
that
like
was
super
awesome.
determined that I was going to like blog all year. And that changed like
Started strong.
started strong. It did because I hired Madison. Like I hired a VA to like help me write blogs. And then I realized that I didn't care about blogs.
Along with the podcast, it gets kind of hard. You just spread yourself so thin, when you're putting out so much content. Like
I was spreading myself way too thin. And yeah. And so once we started doing like podcast production, and I was like, I enjoy this medium way more than like written blog posts. It's kind of like, I want to do what you do, Cami, where I like write a written blog post if I'm feeling super inspired, but not to like put that much pressure on myself like I did this year. I literally had a plan for the entire year of like what week I was going to release what blog post. And like half of them were for other business and creative people, and half of them were geared towards like brides and couples and potential clients.
I remember you making this plan and showing me your list of like 2020 stuff. And it was so in depth, you guys. I got like super intimidated, and I like had a day where I was like, how am I even a business owner if I can't do things like this? Remember, I felt so bad. I was like crying down because I was like, I can't even do, look at her thing. And then I like wrote something on like a piece of copy paper that was like in my trash, and I was like, see, I made a plan.
Yeah. Well, and so part of that goes hand in hand with the fact that I had started business coaching. Do you remember this, Cami? So I like had hired a business coach, started in the new year. It was supposed to be 6 months. So she was kind of the person who pushed me to like do some financial predictions, do some planning, lay some things out, which I had never done before. So I liked that push came from her. But for those of you who like don't know the story, we ended up parting ways. I think after like 2 months, I had realized that I was the one who made the mistake in who I chose, because I thought I wanted someone outside the industry who could offer me a different perspective. And what I realized was that wasn't the case. Like if I hired a business coach, it needed to be someone who really understood like what I'm doing as a business owner. And so it just wasn't the right match. She's a wonderful person. I love her. She and I still occasionally will like touch base and chat about things. But yeah, that was like an interesting turn because I thought I was going to do 6 months of business coaching, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, but at least you had that great plan for the year. But did you follow that plan? Not obviously not with blog posts, but like the rest of it. Does it like match up pretty well?
So that's one thing that when we were prepping for this, I actually didn't go back and look at that. I think I will later. But I think it ended up being very different because of the Stationer Summit. Because
we basically changed everything.
We basically changed everything for Biz Birthday Bash.
Yeah, when you have no plan like me, you can just do whatever you want.
I think I still hit my financial goals and my financial predictions, but in an entirely different way than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
And then I also had a live art event with America's Mart at the beginning of the year, which I had never heard of America's Mart before, but Cami was like, oh my God, you are doing live art for America's Mart?
Yeah, huge wholesale show, like definitely a goal of mine to eventually get there. Maybe I should write those things down, but yeah, that would be cool. Like I think if I did a wholesale show, I'd start with America's Mart. So I was like, oh my gosh, give me all the recon while you're there.
I really want you to do it. I want you to do it so bad because I can be there with you because it's here in Atlanta.
I know.
And it would be the great.
Like I feel like in the gift space instead of in SS, and also it would be like way closer and easier to do than like in New York City,
I think it would be way more valuable to go to America's Mart than the stationery show, because then you're kind of going to be like a diamond in the rough as opposed to, well, the stationery show is like all your direct competitors. So it's like really cool, but at the same time, you're surrounded by everyone else doing the same thing, which is really intimidating.
Yeah, and I have a lot more gift items like, like tea towels and enamel pins, all those things. But anyway, that's a whole nother tangent for another time.
Another thing for another time. So yeah, that was kind of my January. I came out of the gate, hit the ground running type of thing, and then things changed a lot.
Yes.
But we might do an entire episode about pivoting in your business. That's actually in the works for 2020. And we might be doing some like special guests. We have a special crossover episode idea. I can't talk about too much. It's still under wraps, but yeah. But
okay.
Okay. So February.
We launched the A to Z directory. That's on my list. Everything I did was with Biz Birthday Bash, apparently. I launched new Valentine's Day cards that I was really proud of. My little the Valentine's Day pup collection.
Oh, I love those. Yeah.
Well, they're so cute. And I guess I only wrote down like personal stuff because I feel like all my wedding things are just like a blur and I have no idea what bride I was working with on these days or anything. And I got to design my sister-in-law's baby shower invitations, which was fun for me.
So. I love those. Yeah. I love those too.
Basically, first quarter of the year for me is just nose grinding invitations. Like, that's all I did.
Yeah, I know. You put invitations in like 3 of the months. It's like big, bold letters. Invitations.
Yeah.
Like, meanwhile, I'm over here like dinking around doing God knows what. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I had clients too. I just didn't have like as many as Cammie because I went through, like I said, a big pivot where like I discontinued all signage, all day of goods at the end of 2018. So like 2019 looked really different.
Yeah. Okay, so February. What do we? Oh, you came down for the Super Bowl weekend.
Yes, and so Will finally got to meet Cammie and Alex for the first time. Will's my husband. And that was the weekend we came up with the idea for the Stationer Summit. Or more specifically, I was kind of like, hey, we need to do this. That's basically what I said.
Yeah, and we were like, oh yeah, 2021. And then we were like, no, we're doing it now. We just like made it happen. So that is why everything changed so early in the year for us.
Yeah, it was so funny because like we really do try to have kind of like quarterly meetings. That's my thing. I like having a quarterly meeting. Cammie's like, what are we doing? I'm like, we're having a quarterly meeting, Cammie. And so we had like our whole plan. We kind of had this layout for how we thought this year was going to go. And then once I tossed the Stationer Summit into the idea ring, I think it was like beginning of March, within a month, we had been like, no, we have to do this now. This is not an idea that this isn't an idea that we just sit on because like, what if someone else does it first? Like that's a totally viable thing that could have happened. So
yeah, what if someone else does it first is like my motivation for half the things I do. So like I have to do this now.
It's so true. And a lot of times people even like come up with ideas at the same time, which is even crazier. Like by the time you've thought of an idea, there is most likely 100% chance that somebody else had the same idea at the same time. There's like some crazy stat out there. Like if you've thought about it, that means somebody else has probably reached the same point. I can't remember where I heard that, but yeah, let that be a kick in the booty for you. Like get stuff done, like act on it when you think about it.
Yeah, basically that's why there's no time for planning. You just got to do it.
We JK rolling the whole thing, guys. We just waved our magic wands and there's a lot of work.
Yeah, so that was February. Directory, we can hang out. March, I wrote down literally nothing but invitations.
Yeah, another month of all invitations.
And then I got to design my dad's 70th birthday party invitations, and I did that right before I left for Jackson Hole for a week. Yeah, which was really awesome to get to design those for Pop. Yeah,
with the bear, and it was a vellum envelope with like a mountain scene. It's so cute. I still have it. I have it somewhere. I just have to find where I put it. But
I love those.
That's one of the ones you don't throw away. That's the whole goal.
Yeah,
thrown away. I was looking at my calendar, and March was kind of like this funky month for me because all I could find was, I mean, I know I was still designing and doing work for clients, but I also, my one big thing is I started the immersion course with Bonnie Christine. So at the end of 2018, I had paid for the immersion course, which is all about surface pattern design with Bonnie Christine, because I was like, I'm going to try something new and different. And I think the classes like launched and started either the very end of February, like the very beginning of March. So like every single Monday, I would like sit down for a few hours and like go through the video lessons because it was a drip course. So it would release week by week. So that was like a lot of my March, and then client work.
Yeah. Yeah, March is always like a weird month. I feel like there's always a lot of client work in March for June and July weddings.
Yeah.
So May and July, yeah, that one's pretty rough. Okay. So April, invitation.
Freaking have written invitations on like all of these.
That's literally all I was doing. It was freaking nuts. Like I was just, very intense. And then I planned the Walk for Life here in Orlando and did fundraiser with that. So that was really cool. That's my other big thing in April. Is that in April or is it in March? I guess it's in April. I can't remember. Anyway, because I was doing all those invitations, so I can't keep up with anything.
Yeah,
but Elizabeth had some really cool, fun things that you did.
Yeah, also like Azula is like running around my office and like scratching things and crying. So if you guys
I can't hear her.
That, okay, that's good. She's like in the closet crying at the corner right now. It's like the most random thing. She like does this and I don't know. I have no idea what she's doing when she does it. But did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, honey.
Okay. It's accurate.
Hey.
Zula, what did you do in April?
Come here. Do you want to come sit with me? Sorry, we're having like a little cat break. Come here. Get up here.
I can hear her.
You can hear her?
Yeah.
See, hopefully now if she's sitting on my lap, she'll be a little quieter. But okay.
Okay.
Back to April. So I did a styling workshop in Birmingham with Empress Stationery.
So
and she paired up with a couple other people. And this was almost like, what do you call it when you like manifest something for yourself? I didn't realize that I was doing it at the time because it would come full circle to when I styled my whole portfolio in October. And like this styling workshop was a game changer for me. It was so fun. I loved meeting Jessica of Empress Stationery in person. It was absolutely wonderful. And meeting like Marty Harris and a couple other creatives that I had been friends with on Instagram, including Melissa of Gracefully Art. I think that's her handle. And like got like lunch and dinner with people and that was really exciting because I love it when like Instagram actually comes to life. I don't know. It's the best.
I know. It is so fun.
Yeah. We've often tried to figure out how can we do something in person because you guys ask for it all the time. We just still don't know what that is.
Exactly. But we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. And then I did a live art event with Jimmy Choo, which is not going to lie, some of the easiest money I've ever made because I think I went and sat there for 2 days and like barely anybody like bought anything in the store because you had to buy something for me to actually like do these note cards, these like custom note cards with their name on them. I would do them in the store. That's why I was live art. But yeah, but that was so cool to say that I had worked with like Jimmy Choo, the brand. And then this is when Cami and I also launched the custom stationery contract template. And that was April. I was able to find that because, I put things on my calendar.
Very smart.
Cool. And this is when we really started recruiting people for the summit, like big time, was April.
Yeah, that's when we went on like our recruiting tour. It's not a tour. It was all on the internet, but it felt like a tour.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it all happened like pretty fast. Like we decided we were going to do it and then the snowball was rolling and we just kept calling more people, FaceTiming. Well, yeah, I guess we would set up like little like Skype meetings with them and stuff to ask them what they thought.
You know what? I didn't even think to look at my calendar for what I did in the year. So I just went and did it. I had more written down than I thought.
Oh my gosh. Why wouldn't it's okay. Do you see anything else that you feel that you should point out from like the first quarter?
No, but I have all my clients color coded in here, which you would be amazed at.
I actually am shocked. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clients or 6 clients of things happening in April. Like it's like save the date due, proof due, printing, mailing, proof due, mailing. Like, oh my Lanta. No wonder I was insane. Like,
yeah. There was like literally one time. Yeah. Well, there was like time when I don't know how you were even coming up for air to breathe. Because people would be like, so how do you balance like your business and like Biz Birthday Bash? And I'd be like, well, I know how I do it, but I don't know how Cami does it.
I don't know. Oh gosh. Yeah. I just go through it with a blur and don't remember anything, apparently.
You just like thrive. Honestly, I think you just like thrive on what you love and you like having your days full and you like your art. And
if I have days that are chill, I get nothing done. Like I'm like, I could be doing all these things and then I don't do any of the things. So, but if I have like crazy deadlines, it all gets done. It's weird.
Yeah. You thrive off of that for sure. And I'm like, I need some room. I'm like
Yeah.
choking. I'm dying. I need some air.
I mean, I still feel like that, but I don't know. It's very weird.
Well, it is true. Like the more you have, the better you become at time management and you're more motivated. You have to be more efficient. So like I've struggled with that. Like on the times where there is a down season in my business, I often find myself like meandering around like a chicken with its head cut off. Like I don't know what to do next. Like
Because there's
I
so
don't
many
know.
possibilities of things to do that you're just like,
Yes.
yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
Okay, so that's April. Okay, so we've covered like the first 4 months. Oh wait, we talked about we talked about how you designed Pop's 70th birthday invitations.
Yeah,
And then
and then
May was
May-
the actual thing.
Yeah, and then Elizabeth got to come for that. And so we got to see each other again, which was really fun. So my dad had his 70th birthday party at the farm, and it was just the best party ever. It was so much fun. So that was
I
great.
was like buddy with Cammie's husband Alex the whole time because because Cammie obviously like knew everyone there. I was a little more of like the outsider, like all these people that, you know, Cammie grew up with and knew, and Alex and I were the ones that like didn't know anybody. So he and I kind of like paired up and we like drove the golf cart around and made sure people knew where to park, and
You guys did awesome.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
And I recorded you giving your speech for Pop, which was important.
I'm putting that on my speaking resume.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, by now, or no, not yet. We have an awesome episode coming up about speaking at the end of January.
Oh, yes. Okay. And then I think this is the month I did my first letterpress suite, but I'm honestly not sure, but I'm putting it in here anyway. But anyway, I did my first letterpress suite and I died because it was really difficult for me.
I want to say that's about right because I think I had just moved here when you were going through that.
Yeah. And Elizabeth moved to the other side of Marietta and was going through a move and all that. So that's
woohoo, that was super fun.
So that's stressful. And then in May, I began licensing artwork to other stationers. So just like working with some other stationers of doing just the artwork only, which was kind of cool and, you know, a little bit new for me. So I definitely enjoy that process. That was like another new little addition to the business.
Yeah, I know. That was really cool that you started doing that. And I can see you doing that for like many years to come, even if you weren't doing invitations directly anymore. Like,
yeah, for sure. Like,
especially since you have started licensing more, which we will continue to talk about because there's been some pretty cool things come in the later months for you. Yeah. So I moved, and it really was the other side of Marietta. I kind of went from like Marietta Square to like the bottom southeast corner of Marietta, which is very different in many ways, mainly that Will and I don't have like our great walking path that we used to have.
Oh, yes.
But like we love it. We love this corner of Marietta. We love our neighbors and like the people that we've met. We love the proximity to shopping and like the Braves Stadium. And so there's a ton of great pluses to that. But anyone who has moved while like operating a business knows that that's just gets a little hectic. I mean, Cammie, you did that when you and Alex moved houses.
Yeah, last year
the whole
thing. Sold our old house and moved to this new house. Golly, that was, and I was doing a rush invitation job at the time for some God knows what reason. But I literally did an invitation suite, like everything about it in like 5 business days. It was like bananas.
Yeah.
But like we moved my office first so that I could like have everything set up and like be in my office even before we moved into the house. Like I was working out of this house.
Mm-hmm.
So getting the internet set up like ASAP, like it was just chaos, but we did it.
Yeah. Just craziness.
Now we're never moving ever again.
Yeah. So we got all of that done. And the thing is like, that was like, I actually had breathing room at some point. I can't remember how it worked out, but I had breathing room between clients. And that was like almost the biggest blessing in disguise that because I was kind of complaining about the fact. You remember? I was like, I just really wish I had more clients. Oh my God. Like God knew that I didn't need any more clients. I would not have been able to handle it.
Yeah.
Between like moving and traveling for Pop's birthday. Like I traveled a lot this year, guys, like way more than I think I even realized. I like wrote out on our Christmas card, like all the places that I had visited this past year for like work and pleasure. And I was like, holy cow. I was like all over the place. And we also had my cousin's wedding in Indiana in May too. So it was like, we had that, we had Pop's birthday. Then came home and that Monday, like we started moving. So yeah. So that was like May. And that's when I developed the plan for the 52-week newsletter. And my VA Madison helped me with that. And so the open envelope is what we call it. So those emails will go out weekly. They're going to get some sort of like TLC and love with like the rebrand in the new year. But yeah, I started strategizing for all of that because I was like, I have all of this content. I should be resharing this. Like, why am I creating new content? I should be sharing what I've already put out there, including the podcast. So that was kind of where that motivation came from.
It's freaking smart. And then in June, or are we done with May?
Yeah, June's like our vacation month. Yeah.
June, we all went to the beach. Not all of us. I mean, we went to different beaches. We both went to the beach.
Yes, we did.
Mine and Alex's 4-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Month. And we launched stationersummit.com, which was, I made the huge announcement about Stationer Summit and we broke the internet.
Yep. On June 4th. Yep.
Yeah.
June 4th. And yeah, and then you went on your vacation. I went on my vacation. So that was weird because that was like a couple weeks of us not talking very much, which like weirds us out when that happens. Like we start feeling very lonely when the other one's not around, I would say. Don't you think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like when you went to Jackson Hole, I was like, what am I even doing? Like, do I even have friends? Like, who do I call?
You were gone for like 2 weeks and then I left like right after you got back. So it was literally like 2 weeks of us not. I'm looking at the calendar like a good person now.
And I think I still did. There were a couple days I like still called you about things, I think, for my own sanity. I was
like, yeah.
To talk to Cammie.
Oh, yes.
Instead of having a boyfriend that I'm managing things with long distance, I just have Cammie now. So, I still, I just touch base with her on vacations and stuff and make sure she's doing well.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, and I did 3 crest designs in June.
Nice. Yeah. You had I feel like things came in huge waves for you. It was like you did your invitations all at once. You did all these crests all at once.
Everything was all at once.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, what is happening? But anyway. And then July. So, I started working with Papyrus in July, which was very exciting.
That has flown. It just feels like it was a month ago that you started working with them.
I know. I like had to go back and look at the emails to see when it was. And it was July when they first reached out to me. So that was really cool. I think I've done 7 or 8 projects with them now, which is crazy.
Has it really been that many? Okay, yeah, I thought it was really like 4.
Well, because one of the cards that I did that globe, they've literally used it like 4 or 5 times. We repurposed that card so many times, and so I get paid as a new project every time we just like add like something to it, like
which is just, like, amazing.
Adding watercolor hearts and to it, like it literally, it's awesome. So really, if you take that one project out that's counted as like 5, it's only like 4. Or 5. I don't know, guys. I'm so sorry. I can't keep up with anything.
Yeah. No, but that's been really cool. Like your licensing journey with companies now. And it's just like made me such a proud friend. I'm like, this is the coolest. And I can't wait to like accidentally stumble upon one of them in the store and freak out. And everyone's going to, no one's going to know what's like happening. And that'll be fun.
Very cool.
So that's your big July thing. Do you see anything else on the calendar now that you're looking?
Well, also, I wrote down that we built the garage in September, but it was actually in July. So clearly, I don't know.
Yeah, that was definitely not September because it was done when I came.
I'm an idiot. So yeah, we finished the garage in July. So if y'all don't know, my husband is a intense hobby race car driver, very intense hobby, and go-kart racer. So we have this ginormous 2-car. Actually, it's more like a 4-bay garage, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
that we built. It's massive. So he has like his own man cave out there and it's just super cool. It's like Yankees themed. It's got a lift. So that was like this huge project we did in July. And that took up just a lot of workers always outside the office. And that was like a big thing. So
not to mention that throughout this year, this isn't on here, but throughout this year, you also had multiple problems with the roof over your office. And I think you might have been going through like another bout of that when all this was happening too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I forgot to mention about that. Like we had some giant hole in our roof and it was above my office. And like we had the roofers come out. I think it was 7 or 8 times before they finally were able to fix it because it would leak every time it rained. And it was like right where we stored my inventory. So we had to move it every time it rained because I would get so nervous. And like Alex, like even now, like even a few nights ago, it started raining. Alex got up at like 2 a.m. and moved the stuff because he was worried. Even though I think it's fixed, but he still moves it. Oh gosh.
Yeah, because you found a size of like a hole the size of like a badger in your roof.
There was a badger hole in our roof that it took them 7 times to see. Like, I don't know what these people were doing up there. I was like, listen, I can get up there with some duct tape and some Flex Seal and fix this thing. What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
And then it would start leaking in like other parts. I'm like, are y'all walking around with baseball spikes up there? Like, what is...
Yeah, anyway. What is happening? I know. Yeah, you guys are going through all that. But I do want to say about your garage too, because like you talk about it as if it is a behemoth, which it is. It's very big, but you guys did a really good job of doing it tastefully because it's like far enough back on the property and it matches the house and it's like very cohesive. It's not like this like nutso.
It's not like a warehouse. It like matches. It's got the cutest little lights on it. Don't you just love those little black lights?
Yeah. And so this is about the time I came out to July like 18th through 20th because we recorded our BBB session for the Stationer Summit. Yes. And this is also when I got to read all your HOA paperwork because since Cammie...
My husband is now on the board.
Cammie and Alex built the garage. Like the whole neighborhood was like in an uproar about like what you were allowed to build and not build. Because like the HOA, this is like more Cammie's story than mine, but I really got into it because it's great. I felt like really emotionally involved because the HOA hadn't been in operation since like what, Cammie? What year?
Oh, well, it was built. It was created in like 1960, but it went out of like it expired in 1998 or something. So it hadn't been renewed since 1998. So that wasn't even like a thing anymore.
That's like, freaking like 20 years ago. And so there was like all this like drama in the neighborhood because people
also, everyone in my neighborhood is like 95. They're all like 95 and older, like not even exaggeration.
Yeah, they've been there since the neighborhood was like built essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
And so like Cammie and Alex had built this garage and there was all this discussion about like what was allowed and what wasn't. And Alex was like, well, technically anything's allowed because the HOA is not actually in effect, guys. Like, so
like
they had
half the neighborhood didn't know and like that turned this whole thing. And oh my gosh, it's been like hilarious.
And I was fascinated by the like property layouts because like Alex had all of like the old HOA papers printed out and the surveys of the land and how the property was divided. And I don't know why, like there's like some nerdy part of me that loves stuff like that and always has. And I was like going over like where the properties were divided and like asking all these questions. And so like we got our BBB session recorded and then we also talked about the HOA a lot that weekend.
Yeah, because so Elizabeth comes down to hang out and spends like 4 hours going over documents about HOA. So just tell y'all what kind of person she is. So it's so funny though. But those documents are absolutely hilarious. They're like, your servants' quarters cannot be this close to the house.
That was shocking. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. You know, like something from the 1960s when, it's crazy to think about.
It's insane.
A little uncomfortable to think about too, because you're like, oh wow, okay.
What?
There you go.
Oh, so man. Good times. Good times. Let's see.
Oh, I wrote that 2 of my invitation clients got married during this time. So July 20th and 27th.
2 July weddings.
Yep, 2 July weddings. So I was obviously working on their stuff throughout the majority of the year. I had a May wedding this year, 2 July weddings, and a November wedding.
I don't know what my weddings were. Okay, I have...
Your weddings were around the clock. Let's be honest.
They were all... And then, I did 2 more crests in July because I have those written down on my calendar. So
okay.
There you go.
2 more crests. Lots of crests this year. Okay, Cammie, gosh, you're killing me. You have like 1 thing written for August. I have like 8.
You guys, this list is so freaking funny. And like, I only went and added this stuff in after you wrote all those because I was like, oh shoot, I need to like show up and represent. Okay. Well, also, you guys, first of all, one of Elizabeth's things for August is that she installed a ceiling fan in the master bedroom. Why did you write that? That is a highlight of Elizabeth's life in August, is that she installed a ceiling fan in the master bedroom. So I started talking about the garage because I was like, oh, I guess we're talking about like home stuff because I can add some.
This is our overview of our whole year. Also, I was just laughing. I put that in there because that was what I asked for my birthday.
Wow.
My parents were like, do you have any idea what you want for your birthday this year? My birthday's in August. And I was like, well, Will and I would really like a ceiling fan in the master bedroom. Like our apartment, our previous apartment had ceiling fans and this apartment had none. So yeah, I wrote it down.
So
we had somebody come do it. We had someone come do it though, because I was too scared to do it myself. Like I didn't want it to come out of the ceiling and like hit us. And it's a good thing we hired someone because he caught some things that like weren't up to code and like he knew what we needed to like put in there to like make it safe basically. So it wouldn't like catch fire or anything crazy.
I know. Remember when we came to visit you guys in whatever month that was, October, and Alex was like in the apartment. He's like, oh, okay. He was trying to figure out like how to get into your crawl space. Like
that was so funny because I was telling him that like my office space and the guest bedroom don't have direct like overhead lights. And he was like trying to figure out how we could like rewire the space. I was like, I think we're going to need more than like 2 hours to figure that out.
Like he would get in on that for sure. Like that is his thing.
So funny.
He's like always in her attic doing stuff. I don't even know what he's doing. But
when did you guys put up the lights outside your house too that he did? They were so nice.
The landscape lights? I don't know.
Was that summer? That was summer because they were there by the time I was there in July.
Yeah, so Alex did all of our like landscape lighting, and I think it looks like a freaking resort at night. Like I'm so proud of it. And our neighbors across the street literally spent like 20 grand on like landscape lighting and landscaping, and Alex spent like $200 buying the lights and just did all the labor himself because he like knows how to do all this stuff because he's the coolest. And they were so mad when they found out, like, because ours really. Like, I'm not just saying that because it's ours, but they really do look a lot better.
I know they should have just like hired Alex. They should have just.
That's what he said. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna get you to do it," and Alex is like, "I'm not gonna." Like, they wanted him to just like come over and do it. And I'm like, "Why don't you just charge for it?" I'm always like trying to get him to start like side businesses.
Oh yeah, he absolutely could. He's just like so handy and good at that stuff.
I know. Seriously. But yeah, even like at our HOA meeting, they were like, everyone needs to go look at the Miller's house. Their lights are fantastic. You need to have lights like that. And we're just like, because Alex did it all. So, yeah. So I'll add that to my home improvement list on some month that we did.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you guys did lots of cool things. Okay, but talk about like you have your one thing written down for August.
Something actually relevant to you guys. Sorry, everyone, if you didn't want to hear about what we've done to our house. But in August, I did a branding shoot with Amelie Orange Photography. She has a offshoot off that business called The Branded Boss Lady. And so she does branded shoots for entrepreneurs. And I did a branding session with her. And it was literally the best thing ever. Like, I highly, highly recommend. I think we've talked about this before. How like branding shoots can really elevate your brand and your business, take it to the next level. And I feel like Amelie helped me actually define my business and what it looks like. And it was so much fun. She did the best job. I got my kitties in it. It's just the best. Oh my gosh. So that was really fun. Yeah, it was a good time. Good time. She's awesome. So Branded Boss Lady, if you want to go check her out, by the way.
Yes. I freaked out when I saw those. I was so excited.
Yeah, she's incredible. Like, I was really pleased with them. I was like so worried. I was like, what if I look so bad? I don't even know, but they look so good.
Yeah, you were really stressed. I was like, it's going to be fine. Like, I know it's going to turn out great. And yeah, my gosh, it is so.
Well, I was also stressed because I had a hole in my ceiling, and I was like, oh my god, my office is right. So janky, but you don't see it at all.
No, you don't see it at all. You only see like the cute cats and like your art and your brushes and your overalls, and it was just all adorable. Oh, yes. Okay, so I feel like August 2 was like, it was getting ready for the summit, basically, because early bird was the last week of August. So we were spending a lot of time doing sales copy, making the website, making sure that we had the videos turned in from all the educators.
Oh, I did my video in August. I did it like the very last minute.
Yep.
I remember now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you might have actually done it in September because remember the content didn't launch till the 16th.
Oh, I think, yeah, probably. That's right.
It's so funny because we had all these rules and guidelines for all the other educators participating. And I mean, Cammie is like, you're above the law a little bit since you're like part of it. But.
I am the law.
And yeah, I did mine sometime in August too. I think I had that written down. And I recorded mine twice. I think we both did, right?
I recorded mine twice as
Yep.
well. Yeah.
Yep. I did my first one and I was like, not good enough. Like redid it. August is the month that I also went to Denver to visit my family for 5 days, and I also got booted off my family's health insurance because I turned 26. So now you guys all know how old I am. This often surprises people too, that because Cammie and I are 4 years apart, but it doesn't feel
30.
like that. Not well at the point this episode is released. Yes. So as of now, record 4 days until you're 30.
4 days until I'm 30.
I was like, Cammie, what are you doing for your 30th birthday? And she was like, I'm going to go to Cracker Barrel.
Like, you get excited about ceiling fans. I get excited about Cracker Barrel pancakes. All right.
So funny. I was like, okay, but that also makes sense to me.
I was like, what do you want for your birthday? I was like, just Cracker Barrel pancakes and a puffin. He was like, a puffin? I was like, yep. And so he's like, remembered that I said a puffin. So I feel like I'm getting a puffin because he wrote it down.
So. Exciting.
I don't know why I said a puffin. It just seemed like a good thing to ask for.
Yeah. Anyways, like a puffin the animal. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, a puffin the animal.
Oh, geez. Yeah, well, you're not getting that. That's like an exotic animal. You can't have that as a pet.
Oh, puffins. Okay.
Also, puffins are not native to the U.S., are they?
I know.
No, they're like Australian.
What? No, I saw them when I was in Wales. There's a puffin island. They're really little. They're very cute. So maybe he'll get me like a little stuffed animal puffin.
Okay. Yeah, Wales. Oh, yeah. Gosh, why do I mix up Wales and Australia? It's super embarrassing. They're totally different parts of the world. So, yeah, I got booted off my family's health insurance. And keep in mind, too, like up until this point, like Will had been job searching like the entire year. So I was like really gung-ho to do as much as I possibly could within my business. And I was like the breadwinner at the time. And so getting booted off my family's health insurance was especially dramatic because it's like not like I couldn't go to my husband's at the time. And I had to like find this like temporary interim plan. And even then they like didn't cover my birth control. And that was like traumatizing. I'm using the word traumatizing very loosely. Obviously I wasn't like traumatized. I was just really upset when I had to like pay a bunch of money.
Disclaimer. Sorry, I'm making light of a horrible thing. Sorry. Well,
it wasn't horrible. I was just like frustrated and overwhelmed and like all of the things. So
yeah.
But then he started his new job September 9th. So I was literally like on my own insurance plan for a month before I like went on my husband. So it all ended very well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very stressful thing. Like, we're both really blessed to not really have had to deal with, finding health insurance on our own. We know that's like a huge thing with entrepreneurs and working for yourself is like, that's a huge difficult part of it. And honestly, I have nothing to speak to that because I haven't had to deal with it. And I don't feel like I can give advice until I've dealt with something,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like, I was like, oh, well, you'll have good things to talk about for the podcast. See, I was like trying to make a silver lining of it. Like, you'll be able to help and it'll be good.
Just trying to like understand the whole, like, because obviously it wasn't during open enrollment. Like open enrollment for health insurance companies is like the last couple months of the year. And here I am in like the middle of the year trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So I think I'll use like pivothealth.org or something. And they like helped me find a plan. And I used that for a month. But yeah, I was like super confusing and weird. And I don't know. I didn't understand any of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like no joke. Health insurance is a lot. And I had 4 brides get married in August based on my calendar.
Holy cow, you had 4 August weddings. Wow.
2 on the same day. 2 on the 17th, 1 on the 25th, and 1 on the 31st.
Yeah, and that's literally right. And the 26th through the 30th was early bird registration for the summit. So
yeah.
But at that point, like, were you doing many day of items things for them too?
I don't remember. No, I think
it's all a blur. She's like, I blocked it out.
Well, obviously they'd be done by then, so
yes. Yeah. I also, my last thing I wrote was that I did place cards for Atlanta United because that was one of my coolest and like surprising projects of the year, and something I said yes to because of like the pay grade for it. what am I trying to say? Like, it was a rush job and
Oh, you got paid well?
yeah, I got paid well for it. And because normally I wouldn't do place cards, but that's because a lot of people are like, I have 25 place cards. No, this was like hundreds of place cards.
Yeah,
I did them in a very short time frame. And obviously to like say that I've worked with Atlanta United is really cool because now I have a connection with that company. And I plan on circling back up with that guy in the new year to be like, hey, what events do you have going on this year? Like, keep me in mind, like, you know. And I didn't hear anything from him until I followed up later. But no news is good news. Like, if they don't come back and complain about something, it normally means everything went great.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then September was the Stationery Summit. So obviously that was pretty much all of September.
Yes.
So just like managing all that and then, you know, fielding any tech issues and then planning out all the live Q&A sessions for students. There was a lot with September and October. I think we did 8 live Q&As, which was like, we kind of forgot to anticipate in terms of planning. Even though I was freaking out and I was like, it's coming, but it all worked out okay. So we did the Stationery Summit. At the same time, I did a rush full invitation suite and day of details because I'm insane.
Yeah, that's like crazy. Yeah.
And I did a fundraiser for Hopetown, Bahamas, which was cool to raise money for hurricane relief. And I introduced new enamel pins. So see, September, when I get busy, look at all the stuff I do.
Was that new enamel pins as in like, that's also when your Magnolia and your paint thing came out or?
Oh, no, those came out a while ago. This was the new butterfly enamel pins.
I know, and I just got one yesterday and I was so excited.
I can't remember if I sent you one or not. So
no, you didn't. And I never wanted to ask you about it because I didn't want to be like, where's my butterfly pin?
In my mind, I had mailed it. And I was like, well, she's getting a second one. So see?
No, you never sent it. So when I opened it and saw one in there, I got so excited because I had was getting dressed yesterday morning and I was like, do you know what would be cute with this outfit? Cammy's butterfly pin, but I don't have one yet.
Oh, well, I'm so happy we got one. Finally. They're so freaking cute. I'm obsessed with them.
Cammy gifts me lots of things and it's wonderful. So that's why I can't complain. I wasn't going to follow up with you and be like, where's my pin? That would just be rude.
You seriously should have been like, hey, you never sent that pin that you said you were going to, because I legitimately thought I was sending you a second one in my head.
Yeah, you said, because you said, you're like, I can't wait to send you one. And here I am just waiting for all these months and I finally got it.
You gotta follow up, okay? How many times have we talked about the art of the follow-up?
I know, we need to do a whole episode about the art of follow-up. Or wait, did we actually already do that? Oh, no, we haven't.
No, we didn't, but I'm going to write it down right now.
Yeah.
The art of the follow-up. Good one. That's very nice.
I learned some great things actually at QuickBooks Connect about following up. It was like the one session I went to besides my own. Whoops. So for September for me, I celebrated my 4th wedding anniversary. So Cammy and I both got married in 2015. She got married in July. I got married in September.
June.
This is like before June.
No, I got married in June.
I always mess that up. Dang it.
Okay.
June of 2015, and I got married. Was it late June?
June 20th, yeah.
Okay, kind of late June. Okay. And then I got married in September. It's very funny how all the things in our life line up because I don't know if we've shared this before, Cammy, but our parents have the same wedding anniversary to the year, which I almost fell out of my chair when I found out. I was like, I almost had a heart attack.
So weird.
I was like, I'm sorry, what? I was like
you were at dinner with my parents.
Yep. Yep. And that was a really funny realization. So we have all these like funny things in common, including our husbands both have one older sister.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know. It's very weird. And we both have 2 cats. Mm-hmm. All these little things.
All these little things. And so Will and I went to Rosemary Beach, Florida for our wedding anniversary, which we had never been down that way before. So that was really fun. And it was a lot like bougier than we thought it would be. Like Rosemary Beach is kind of bougie. And I hadn't realized that. I knew it was very nice.
I don't think I've been to Rosemary Beach, so I can't speak to its bouginess. But
we're used to going, like we go to the Outer Banks with my family, so it's fun.
Oh yeah, definitely compared to the Outer Banks. I mean, Outer Banks are not bougie at all. They're like
they're like very playful, down to earth. Like people just go to like hang out on the beach and like you like pack sandwiches and whatever. And Rosemary Beach is just like on a whole nother level with like the architecture, and like the town itself was built to essentially be this like modern day like utopia. The history of Rosemary Beach is very interesting. So we were down there for a couple days. And then Will started his new job like as soon as we got back from that. And then I was working with my client Megan at this time. She got married in November. She had an awesome wedding invitation suite where we painted like her 5 dogs for her envelope liner. And I still get questions. People were like, wait, this was for a real client? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is for sure for a real client.
So cute.
Kind of like fun stuff we get to like do when you hire me to do your invitations. And then official registration for the Stationer Summit, September 16th through 20th. All the content went live. And like for the most part, we didn't have like that went pretty smooth, I think, with all the sessions and reviewing them. And if you guys want to hear more about how all that went, we do have a whole episode dedicated to it. But I mean, Cami and I were like both nervous wrecks regardless. And I also had the very last weekend of September, I went to Louisville, which I had never done before. Will and I went there to be with my cousin and his wife and had like a little getaway that weekend.
Yeah. See, you did a ton of traveling.
I did. Let me actually, like, can I read my like little list for my Christmas card?
Yeah.
So here's where it says, Elizabeth traveled to many places. Don't you love writing it of yourself in like the third person?
You're such a little dork and I love it.
Elizabeth traveled to many places this year for work and pleasure, including Orlando, North Carolina, Outer Banks, Tennessee, Indiana, Seattle, Colorado, Rosemary Beach, Louisville, Cincinnati, San Jose, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Dallas.
What the heck? That is freaking bananas. Like, I can't even believe that.
I know. It's crazy. Yeah. When I wrote all of them out, I was like, holy cow, you would think I like travel for a living, which I like.
I know.
But anyways, yeah. So, okay. October.
October. What did I do in October? Oh, I went home to Tennessee for like 10 days. So Alex and I did like some hiking and we went over to where did we go? Up on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and then we ended up in Atlanta at the end of it for a race and then to see Elizabeth. So that was really fun. So
we saw each other 4 times.
I know. Oh my gosh.
It was so great.
So that was good. And then the very last week of October, I had this genius idea that I was going to hire somebody, which was a genius idea. But like normally you like have more preparation than planning, but we know how I work. So I was like, I'm doing this right now. And literally like posted it like the next day. And I had like 70 applicants for my position of a virtual studio assistant, which was bananas. And like, I didn't know how to like feel. I didn't like think ahead of like having to respond to all these people. And like, you know, I wanted to respond to everybody. I didn't get to respond to every single person and like setting up interviews. Gosh, it was a lot. Like,
yes,
it was a lot. So went through 70. I think I interviewed like 6 people, like a video chat. Ended up hiring my VA now. Her name's Jacqueline. She's amazing. She lives in Texas. And that was just like a huge task that I took on in like 3 days, which was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. And it's so funny watching how Cami went about it because like my brain works so differently.
Yeah.
Because basically what you did was like you put a listing online, and I feel like this could be its own episode as well.
We should do one. Yeah,
we should do one. But you basically put a listing online and you were like, email me with like your qualifications and something else, because you kind of wanted it to be free form because you wanted to see what people would do and what they would say. And it was kind of like a test almost. Whereas like I would have probably like made a Google form and
I did. I started off making a Google form. I had a Google form and I was like, wait a minute. I don't want, like, I feel like it becomes too hard to distinguish between people sometimes with the Google form, you know?
Right. The reasoning behind it was good.
Yeah. So skipped the Google form, went for the free emails, but it was just like a lot.
But then you got like 70 of these things and you were like, oh, do you see how like a Google form would have at least kept things a little more organized?
I mean, I still would have got like 70 Google forms. I think I was just, it wasn't so much like getting on the emails. It was just like the amount that I wasn't expecting that many people to actually like apply.
Which is so flattering though, which is so cool.
And then being able to like distinguish between, some people just thought it was more like a mentorship kind of thing. And you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So just totally like feeling between that got a little overwhelming, but it all worked out. And I'm very excited and very happy with who I hired. So
yeah, it all worked out super, super well. And you found like the perfect match and it was great.
I know. I love her. Okay, so that was October for me. Pretty much. I guess I started working on Christmas collection at the same time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You did. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I think, okay, so you launched Christmas collection like November 15th. So whether or not you started painting in October, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's probably like, I think I started painting like as I was hiring people, probably like an hour later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so I got interviewed on a podcast for the first time on Brands That Book. And that's like Christy and Davey. Yeah. Krista and Davey. So that was like really cool. And I talked about content and content management and how I realized that I was like doing way too many things, which I talked about a little earlier, and how I kind of like honed in on stuff. And then I met Alicia Galati for the first time in person in Atlanta because she was here for a conference. If you don't know who she is, she has the Honest Product Bench podcast, which is really great if you're like trying to do some product stuff. And she talks about some great strategy. And I think I must have found her on Instagram or something. So that was like another fun, like Instagram comes to life connection. So Alicia, if you're listening to this, I really liked having lunch with you. And then 5 days in Cincinnati with my mom and sister, one of my favorite trips, if not my favorite trip of the year, to be honest. Then I just continued to hone in on local marketing and meeting more planners and making more connections, because I had forgot to mention this, but What?
I was going to say, you forgot to mention about PowerCore.
Yes, because in July, I joined an organization called PowerCore, which is like you're basically put on a team in a business classification. And it's a way to like help generate like natural business referrals and like build your business. So I go every single Wednesday at 7 a.m. in the morning and freaking like do that.
And I'll cry.
Ooh, yeah. But I told myself when I signed up, I was like, I'm going to do this for a year because I just like want to see how it goes. And because because he started working full time, I was like, all right, well, we're for sure staying in Atlanta. Because for a long time, I was like, if we move and I spend all this time making all these connections in Atlanta and we move, then that's kind of like pointless. So it was really hard for me to like get out there and like really network until he had something. And so October was like another month where I continued to do a lot of that. And this is when I shot my wedding invitation portfolio with Sid and Lex photography. And that was like a game changer for me.
Yeah, they're freaking awesome. And you should do styling for stationers. The end.
Yep.
She styled all those photos, you guys. Like, they are all styled by her. I was like blown away. And she got all like the flowers. Like, oh my Lanta. It was just so freaking good. Like,
yeah, it's like a point of pride for me too, I think, because it really is. Now when I post those photos, I make sure to credit the styling as me, because like that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. It's very hard.
Photography and styling are completely separate, and it's really important for me that people understand and know that I did that, because I don't want it to be accidental, like false advertising, and that like I don't want them to get confused and go to Sid and Lex for that when that wasn't like part of their offering of, you know, like the shoot. Like I did all that.
So hard. It's like the hardest part. I hate styling. So
yeah, I love it. Well, and so yeah, that's how the whole like styling workshop I went to in April like manifested itself later in the year. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, well, maybe I can hire you to do some of mine. If I send you some of my sweets, will you style them for me?
Yes, I will. And I could even hire them to come back, and I'll just like do it. I don't even care how much the photography costs, and here's how much my styling services cost.
Seriously, like y'all could create like a little package or something.
Yeah,
honestly,
I know. It'd be really cool.
So November.
Now you have some more things in November. This is good.
I have some more things. Okay, so I started working with American Flat. So that's another licensing company. So American Flat licenses artwork to places like Home Goods and Wayfair and Amazon and other cool stuff. So I literally just started this partnership with them. My VA is working on getting all those artwork files set up for that. as we speak. Actually, that's what she's working on. So, and so I'm working with them. So hopefully in 2020 that'll be grow a little bit and see how that goes. And then I also launched my Christmas collection, which I'm pretty sure I did in like 7 business days. So that was bananas. My VA got everything listed on the site, did all the mock-ups, which was awesome. And since we're talking about home improvements, we repaved our driveway. Actually, this might have been in October. And we got solar panels. So we are a solar family, you guys. Pretty cool.
What are the solar panels for? Just the garage?
Oh, no. Like our whole house, we're solar powered.
No way. You did not tell me this.
I kind of forgot about it.
What the heck? Well, I know at one point you went through the whole window tinting thing and that was super traumatic for you. But I didn't know about the solar panels.
Yeah, now we have solar panels. You can't see them or anything from the house. Like they're on our roof, but they're on like the back, so you can't see them at all. But yeah, we're solar powered, so we have like no electric bill, which is pretty cool.
What?
I mean, we got to pay off all the solar panels because they're expensive, but it's like an investment.
Right, big investment.
Right. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Fun little fact.
Where are they? I'm sorry. Are they in the backyard?
No. They're on the roof. You just can't see them from the front of our house.
Front of the house. Okay, I see.
You know how like the giant room in the back, there's like it's like A-frame peak, like on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. And then
was that Alex's idea? There's no way that was your idea, right? Or did you both kind of have that idea? It was your idea?
No, I said there's no way that was my idea. It's not like something I'd be like, we should get solar panels. Like, I don't know how I got on that, but like, I don't know. We literally had like, I'm not even exaggerating, probably like 12 different solar guys come out here and Alex would talk to him for like 2 hours and I would just like listen from my office and they'd be like, well, what about your wife? He's like, don't bother her. She's working. I was like, I don't care what you do. Just bring me out of this because I don't want to talk to anybody. So
yeah. There's a couple things you get that way with, including like the cars. You're like, I don't care. Just leave me out of it.
I really don't care. Like, oh yeah, we got the new truck in July. Like as soon as like I don't go to the car dealer. Like I just tell Alex to buy something he thinks I like, and I'm not going. So
yeah,
it's a waste of time.
Okay. So solar panels. Okay, so back to November. So American Flat, and then.
Oh, and then the very last possible minute, I decided that I was going to change my tea towel vendor for my products, which I probably should have done way earlier in the year, but I decided to do it at the last minute because that's me. So I worked with a new vendor for tea towels and I literally bought all my product up front. It was like $4,000 and it was really, really scary investment for the end of the year. So I was like freaking out, but it all worked out okay. And I feel like I made the right decision. Like honestly, I was like going back and forth on the tea towel thing for a while. And then I had this review from a wholesale vendor after they got my tea towels from my other vendor, and the wholesale stockist was like literally like left a review on my site. It was like literally the worst quality tea towels I've ever seen. Will not be able to sell these. Great artwork, horrible tea towels. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Because I had just started introducing tea towels as wholesale and I was testing the waters to see if they would even work. So then I would like actually order. So I wasn't making money on this because the margins are too low, but I was just testing the waters. So after I got that review, literally had like a day of like panicking and like questioning what I was doing with my life. And then I reached out to that vendor or that stockist and was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like those tea towels weren't up to my standard either. I'm actually changing vendors. I'll send you new ones. Can you change the review? And he changed it to 5 stars and everything's fine. Everything's okay.
I have to say you made the right decision because you sent me one of those just so I could see. Yeah. It was bad. Like the new ones are incredible compared to what you had before.
Right? I know. I was like, I'm very proud of this decision because I felt like I was like my product, like the quality of my product is very important to me. Like I'm just like, I can't have my name attached to something like that. Like I want to be like a higher end product line and this is just not working out. And I was like, you know what? You got to take risks to have a reward and I'm going to like invest in myself and invest in the business and it's going to be worth it. So very proud of that. And if you're in our A to Z directory, then I share my vendor with you and they're local to Tennessee, which is cool. So,
yes.
Right,
because you had the opportunity to work with a vendor from China, and then at the end of the day, it was more important for you to stay local based.
Yeah, I almost moved forward with a vendor in China with my tea towels, but I just decided I'd rather stay domestic, and I just felt more comfortable working with a domestic vendor, and like nothing would get lost in translation. The shipping was a huge factor. Also, the China vendor was very pushy. It was very intense. And I was like, look, I don't want them right now. Okay.
Right.
He's like, the
right.
Chinese New Year is coming. We need to do it now. I'm like, what? I don't know what that means.
Oh, that's so interesting. I wonder, is that for them when they like do their books and all that stuff? Maybe that's
I don't
why.
know. Yeah. He was saying, oh, we're going to have the prices go up after that. And like, but then everything's busy. I don't know. So,
interesting.
I had samples from them. Like, I was like almost about to do that.
And I think the Chinese New Year is like, it's really important. And everyone takes it off, and like I don't think anyone works, and maybe I'm talking out of my butt, but that would make and if I am talking about something I have no idea that I'm talking about, I apologize. But
I know, he's like all caps, like the Chinese New Year, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, well, actually, like, and Cammie and I were talking about this a little before too. I just found a vendor in China who does wax seal stuff, and I've been talking to her, and I really like her, and it's like super professional and stuff. So I'm considering some big changes, but it's just like nerve-wracking choosing anybody when you're ordering this much stuff, and especially like to the shipping, like to pay for it to come overseas. That's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And just you're investing so much, like so much money and like so many materials that if something is off, like I don't know, it just is scary. Too scary.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, November stuff on November. Yeah, November things like sped up, I feel like a lot for both of us. I mean, I feel like the whole year was like packed, but November for me was like a lot of traveling. Okay, so basically like since the Stationer Summit has been over, like a lot of my focus has been to like, well, first of all, like let myself breathe. And then second of all, start getting things kind of like ramped up for 2020 because I was like traveling so much this fall. So I did 2 California trips, 3 cities in November. So the first one was QuickBooks Connect in San Jose. And then I literally flew up to LA right after that to do the letterpress workshop with Swell Press, which was awesome. But that trip was like exhausting. It was like 5 days. I was so tired. Like I came back on a red eye. It took me like a week to like recover even because it was like,
I was gonna say it took you 5 days to recover.
Sure. Yeah, because it was a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday trip because the letterpress intensive was on a weekend. So then you kind of like lose your natural weekend, and I was like all thrown off. But I was able to recover from that because then like literally 10 days from the day I got back, I went to San Francisco. And then I spoke on a panel at Dreamforce, and that trip was awesome though. That trip was very refreshing to me. It was like 48 hours in San Francisco. I walked like 18 miles between the 2 days, just like walked all over the city, just spent time on my own, ate some good food, and then like spent 40 minutes speaking on the panel, and that was it. It was awesome. And then I edited and printed my 2020 wedding guide and started like mailing that out to planners and connections. So that's the first time I've ever had like a printed mailing marketing item. So that's exciting. I hit 20,000 followers on Instagram. Hosted. Yeah, I know. Super crazy. I hit that, and then I did a giveaway with Fox Blossom, which was super fun. And then I also launched the Thank You Society. Yay! Yep. Which like Cammie's super mad because I was able to get like the product tagging on Instagram, and she still hasn't been able to for hers, which is nuts.
What the heck, dude? I can't even believe.
I knew it was going to happen. I was like, I just had a gut feeling. I was like, I know I'm going to get approved, and poor Cammie has been trying over and over.
Something is up. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I've been flagged apparently. I don't know, but that's so annoying. I'm so mad at you.
I know. I'm so sorry. And so that's kind of like, I'm just naturally growing that very slowly. There's no big rush to like do anything. It's just kind of like up and out there now. I at least needed to get it out there. So I did that, and we'll see what shape that takes in 2020. And I kind of like spruced up my inquiry process a little bit, which we talked about in one of the episodes, because now I'm just trying to do only phone calls.
Right.
Yeah. So you can listen to that episode if you want to learn more about that. I think I made that decision in November or October, maybe. I don't know. Sometime this fall.
Yeah, man, this is a really long episode, by the way.
Yeah, so. We're like not even, good Lord, we still have like all these like numbers to go over. That's okay.
I know. That's okay. Y'all can just hang out with us.
We're just going to
okay.
go get a snack after this.
Oh, I'm already snacking right now. All right. So December, what am I doing? Well, one, I turned 30 in December. So holla at your girl. I'm 30 years old.
Woo!
And 30, flirty, and thriving or whatever. And then, well, I guess I'm not that flirty. I'm married, but flirty with my hubby. Hey. And then, so December, both of us are going through kind of a rebrand, refresh. Like both of us are getting new websites in 2020. So I think we're both just preparing, I don't know, just kind of like getting things together for that as we go through 2020. I'm just trying to introduce new product categories in 2020. So this is like just kind of like a year or like a month of just like chilling and enjoying the holidays, not really doing anything crazy, but it's just like a dreaming month for me. That's what December is. It's just like sitting around. I love
that. That's a great thing. Yeah.
Dreamy December, and just like thinking about 2020 and reflecting back on the year, what worked, what didn't. And, one thing I've noticed about the year is like, I only got to really launch 2 or 3 times of like products. And I'm like, 2020 is going to be like, I'm so excited to expand on my line and like have more time to dedicate to that because I'm taking on less wedding clients. We can talk more about this in like our numbers section. But yeah, so that's like what I've been dreaming about, I guess, for December.
I think 2020,
and I'm also trying not to die packing up Christmas orders. That too.
Yeah, I think 2020 is going to be a huge year for you in terms of like retail and products. Like I just have a feeling because we're both undergoing, of course we both are, like this is how our lives happen. And I'm so glad that we're both going through like our rebrand in terms of like neither of us are changing our names, but we're updating. Well, I'm not sure for you about your logo, but for me, like logo, brand, design, website, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just getting a new website, but hoping that helps me shape my brand more. So I'm not necessarily doing a rebrand. I'm just kind of like defining my brand more, I guess.
Yes.
So that's going to be fun for both of us in 2020. So that's pretty much December.
Yeah.
Yay, that's the whole year. And now we have a bunch of numbers to throw at you guys.
But yeah, I know it's like we almost could have done this episode in 2 parts as well. But I'm confident in the next 15 minutes we can like go through our numbers.
15 minutes. I highly doubt that. I'm glad you're confident.
It's okay. This will just be like the longer one to listen to. Actually, like I've gotten into a couple podcasts lately that do like 1.5-hour episodes, and I really enjoy it. So,
all right. Well, this might be like 1 hour and 45, but it's fine. Okay. So numbers and stats, because I personally love hearing stats and numbers behind businesses. So I thought it'd be fun to include some of ours. So we're not doing like actual like monetary value or anything like that because that's just funky, but we're going to be talking about like percentage increase. So I'm just going to go over my like overall year-over-year overview, like of the whole business. This is just on Cami Monet. There's no like Biz Birthday Bash involved with this. So overall, this year, I saw a 50% profit increase over 2018, which I'm very excited about. And then a 32% total income increase. So that's like huge growth, I'm pretty sure, in terms of business. So I'm like super patting myself on the back right now.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that profit increase number is higher because I kept my expenses down this year. Basically not, just buying every course that ever existed or, buying random crap from my office or whatever. So I just made a conscious effort to really lower my expenses as much as possible and just keep things streamlined, maybe even ordering things in higher quantities, so like your actual per piece cost is cheaper, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You did a really good job of that. Like that's something that I could probably be better at, I'm sure. Oh, but now like Soho and Paper Presentation are closed. I know that's like kind of random.
I never even ordered for them anyway, so it wasn't like that big
so that won't
for me. But
you. Okay,
no, it won't affect me.
It will some people, I'm sure, though.
Oh, for sure. Like I know some people already still have orders with them and stuff. I'm like, what the heck? Like they didn't give us any sort of warning or anything.
Nothing.
So freaking bananas.
I declare bankruptcy.
Oh my
Michael
gosh.
Scott, Michael, you can't just declare bankruptcy.
Wait, did you do a 50 like a year over year overview, or should I just keep going?
I'm not entirely sure in terms of like profit and like income. So I was telling Cami though that like I know my income for Eliza and calligraphy is lower this year because I've purposely tried to do some like bigger purchases, like with branding, buying a new computer to like lower my tax liability on Eliza and calligraphy because we had a great productive year with Biz Birthday Bash. So I was like, I didn't share that stuff. Not, yeah. Why am I?
Yeah,
me speaketh,
like
can't speak no words anymore.
Say, I misspeaketh. I misspeaketh.
Speaketh good.
I misspeaketh on that one. Okay. Let's see here. And then in terms of like category breakdown, you guys. So I'll keep talking about like the growth side of things. Okay. Actually, I'm going to talk about my category breakdown and then talk about like what actually happened year over year.
Yes.
So my income category breakdown, this is where all my income comes from. This is still kind of general, but like pretty close to it because I was looking at actual numbers. So weddings accounted for 50% of my income. Retail, Etsy, and website accounted for 25%. Wholesale was 15%. Licensing was 7%. And then other was 3%. And that's like affiliates and who even knows.
Yeah. And I guess it's better to say like revenue than income. Or.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess because like the connotation of income sometimes can be profit. I don't know. Revenue.
Oh, gosh, I always get these all like mixed up in my head. But.
Sorry.
Now you like throw me for a loop.
No, you're good.
Anyway, regardless of like the actual like expenses with it, it would still probably break down the same.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
So, playing off that category breakdown again, year over year for 2018 versus 2019 in the wedding side of my business, I saw a 27% growth on income, which is directly attributed to one, I think I had like 3 more clients than the year before, and I also raised my prices.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot. So that growth definitely kind of for there. Let's see, retail, Etsy, and website. Etsy went down 28% for me in terms of revenue.
Yep, it went down for me too.
I know, and yours was like 30%.
Yep.
So we both went down 30% essentially, which is, I feel like that is an Etsy problem, not so much an individual problem.
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
lots of different factors, like their search changed, and I don't know,
free shipping.
But my Shopify was up 47%.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. So I also direct people. I know beforehand I used to direct people to Etsy, not last year, but in years prior. And now I just like try to push my website as much as possible. So that was cool. Wholesale, 242% growth over last year. So freaking, well, that was one of my big goals, was to focus on wholesale. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's so
and then
cool.
licensing is a new category. So I don't have any percentage change. I guess it grew 100%.
Do you know how many wholesale accounts you have now, Cami? Do you know that number?
Well, this year I added 75 new stockists. I do know that. So probably
my gosh.
115. I don't know.
Wow. Holy cow. I had no idea.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I don't know if some of these stockists might be like super lame stores or something, you know, like
right, because you don't know. It's not like you're pitching them. They're just finding you mostly on Fair, right?
Yeah, and like I'll go look at shops, and like the ones that I feel like are really good fits, I'll add on my website. I haven't updated that in a really long time. That's on my to-do list for my VA. So, but I had 75 new stockists come through this year.
That's so cool. That's incredible.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh man, and you have your one last thing too.
What's my one last thing?
Licensing. It's totally new for your business.
Yeah. Licensing is totally new. So yeah, I don't have any growth strategy for that from this year.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Go over. You might as well go over like your numbers for clients and products, etc. And then I'll jump into my things.
That sounds good. That way we don't go back and forth and confuse everybody. So invitation clients this year, I worked with 14 invitation or save the date only clients. This doesn't count like Crest or anything like that. This is just like invitations. So I know a lot of y'all like, I need to work with 500 clients. I only worked with 14. Okay. And like, that was a lot for me. I felt like 12 is like a good number for me.
Yeah.
So 14 is a lot. Some of them like are spilling over into next year, you know, like I did their save the date this year.
Yes.
So maybe I actually averaged out to more like 12. I don't know. And then product side, I did 929 orders in 2019.
Woohoo! But you probably have a couple more, right? Since last night.
I hope I can hit 1,000. Yeah, a couple more since last night. So maybe we can hit 1,000 before the year ends. That would be so cool.
I know. That's amazing.
I talked about the new wholesale stockist. I looked it up. It was 75. Affiliate revenue, I did 1,471 from Amazon. Dubsado, I'm not quite sure, but I think it was around 300-ish. And then Flowdesk, I did $800 in affiliate revenue.
I know, that's nuts because you jumped on doing that blog post. Yeah.
I know.
You jumped on it. That is the way to like grow a business is like affiliates.
Seriously.
Dubsado. No, I'm just kidding. They do affiliates. They just don't do it the way I would want it to be done because I'm a snob. Yeah.
Oh man. So that's like my whole overview in numbers of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's so incredible. It's really cool. Mine's super different. So this is what I had to, this was like my theme of like 2019, especially the last quarter. I had to keep reminding myself that 2019 was like my first year of doing only invitations and only envelope addressing.
Yeah. Because you were doing signs, like a million signs before then.
Yes. Because like basically like all my wedding clientele was like exactly all signs, all day of items, all this stuff in 2018. And then I was like, okay, I'm done with that. So I like retired from that. But because of that, like my numbers look way different than they did in 2018 because I worked with a lot more clients in 2018. But I think it's kind of what you touched on, Cammie, is like less clients, but like more profit because I had 4 custom wedding invitation clients this year. I adored all of them. And at first every time I say 4, I'm like, oh my God, I only had 4. But then I remind myself, it's like I did a couple envelope addressing things. I did live art events. So I still had clients, just not custom wedding invitation clients. And
you really don't need that many.
You really don't need that many. And out of all of those 4 clients, I adored all of them. They were my ideal client. I created something I absolutely loved that was like beautiful. I got to do foil printing for the first time this year. I did it twice. I basically like hit a grand slam when it comes to like getting the clients I wanted. So the fact that I had 4 clients that I really wanted, that I really loved, is better than having like a dozen clients and me hating half of them.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
And so at the end of the day, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm actually super proud of that. It puts me on the right track to continue to like build upwards in the future. And I mean, we freaking dedicated so much time to like Biz Birthday Bash. And I just like don't understand how you balance all of the stuff you do, Cammie, because I was like, my mind is like blown. So I also had a 30% decrease of sales on Etsy. Basically, the only thing I do through Etsy anymore is my wax seals that I have. And I actually I did 72 wax seal orders this year, and I had, as opposed to 147 in 2018. So I basically dropped like 50%. But I think a lot of this is attributed to the fact that I stopped talking about products. It wasn't my main focus anymore. And these will eventually move over to the Thank You Society. But that's like a process. I have to figure out how to do that. And I want to wholesale them. That's like a big goal for me. So I kind of just like let them sit there, which is why I think there weren't more orders, because I literally never talked about them on Instagram ever.
Yeah. And if you don't talk about something, no one sees it, and that's just it.
And no one buys it. Yeah. Because you're not showing it. So yeah, I wrote another bullet point. It was just like the huge shift from 2018 with the clients, which I already talked about a little bit. And then I also looked at my affiliate payments, was super interesting.
Okay. They're all mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. So I did $795 in Amazon affiliates this year, as opposed to $1,159 last year. But also I think I was pushing it a lot more in 2018 than I was this year. And then QuickBooks, this one was crazy. This like tripled basically. I did $2,213 in QuickBooks affiliate cash, as opposed to $783 in 2018. Part of that is because they like upped their ambassador program and like redid it and overhauled it so that it is cash payouts, as opposed to like before they had this like gift card thing going that was kind of different.
Yeah.
So that made a huge difference for me. And YouTube is like pretty darn similar. I did like $824 in YouTube ad revenue this year.
Okay. How the heck do you even make money from YouTube? I'm like fascinated by this.
Honestly, I think we need to do like an episode with my brother at some point. I understand it enough to be able to share, is that it's just like basically people are running ads on Google and they're getting shown on YouTube. Like if they're video ads, So if somebody like clicks on that ad that gets shown on your video, then you make like a little percentage of that click and that ad payment, basically. So it's like all on autopilot. I didn't touch YouTube at all this year. I added one video, and that was our Stationery Summit promo.
What the heck?
Yeah, and so
that's like really amazing.
Yeah, so that's like an extra $800 I get in my business for like no longer doing anything. It's just people watching my videos that have been up there for years now. And then I had $870 for YouTube in 2018. So I made like $40 more in 2018 or something like that. So that's cool to see that that's like relatively consistent. And on Dubsado, I mean, I know for BBB, we did like a great amount of Dubsado affiliate stuff, like more than $700. And for me personally, for Dubsado, for like the Eliza Ann Co code, I know I did kind of similar to you, Cami, probably like 300. I think I was able to like cash out a couple different times, anywhere from 300 to 500. But still, that like all makes a difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, it all adds up.
So sure. I put, for my percentage breakdown, I think 60% were my clients. So that includes wedding clients, live art, and envelope calligraphy. 15%. Oh, wait, no, I messed that up. Okay, I'm winding up. 60% wedding clients. So that's envelope calligraphy and invitations. 15% live art clients. 10% affiliate links. 10% products, and 5% other. Just whatever randomness.
Randomness. You always have to have another category.
Because actually, like GoDaddy Bookkeeping does a much better job of like categorizing things with some of those reports than QuickBooks Self-Employed does.
Yeah,
so it's a little harder for me to look at that, but I think that's like a pretty good estimate of like what my business looks like percentage wise.
That seems like a good estimate to me.
Yeah.
Like in terms of breakdown. I mean, it doesn't have to be like, it's not like someone's going to come fact check this. So
yes, really right, okay. Exactly.
Oh, awesome. And I wrote down all these other questions, but I think we should just skip them because this is obviously like the longest episode of all time. So.
I know, this is such a long episode. We can touch on these, and in the new year, I'm sure we'll do an episode about like what we're doing.
Yeah, we could do that later.
Yeah, and I think these questions that you had laid out anyways, like we covered them for the most part, like scariest moments and things we're proud of, and yeah,
I agree. We
kind of covered that. So yeah, holy cow. Yeah, so look, we are at an hour 30. I told you, I was like, we can do this section in 15 minutes.
Well, I didn't account for cutting out those questions. But you were right. I was wrong. You were right.
Oh, we did it.
But yeah, so there it is, all in a large nutshell, 2019, and what we did for the year, and some percentage breakdowns and some stats for all you number 11 people. So hopefully that was interesting.
I know, right?
I always like either like businesses. So.
People will either love this episode or they'll be like, "That was the dumbest thing ever." It's going to be one or the other.
Like we really care, but I personally love hearing this kind of stuff, so that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, me too.
There you go. How do we end episodes again? I forgot.
With the rating and review.
Oh, yeah, you guys. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a rating and review. I don't know why I got like a weird little accent there, but leave us a rating and review on iTunes. It really, really does make a difference and helps us get found, and we can keep bringing you unnecessary statistics like this one. So leave us a rating and review. And then you can also come say howdy to us on Instagram at BizBirthdayBash. And yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this one.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you do have any questions about what we blabbed on about for an hour and a half, or just questions in general, you can go to bizbirthdaybash.com/Q&Cake, submit your question there, and hopefully we will answer it on one of our many Q&Cake sessions that we do every 5th episode. And that's like a great way for us to interact with you guys and interact with our audience. And thank you as well for those of you who have written reviews already. We actually have like almost 200 written reviews, Cami. I think we're getting close, and that's incredible. Like, you guys are awesome. Yes. We love you. We have loved doing the podcast, and here we are at the year mark, and we're ready for more.
Yes. You guys are all little rays of sunshine, and we love you so much. So we will see you next time. Have a great 2020.
Yeah. Happy New Year's Eve. Have a great 2020.
Bye.
Bye.